Who's on your committee, Diane? Diana?
Diana, I don't remember seeing anything about a committee meeting. I don't know if I missed that email. Diana, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I don't remember you calling for a committee meeting. I don't know why I don't remember.
It's just a brief update. So actually, I think both my committee members are here, and so I can start. So I'm going to call to order Ordinance, Election, and Legislative Matters Committee
Wait a minute.
to order at 6:56. So the update that I have for my committee members is related to the redistricting. Did everybody get the, it looked like this in your mailbox, a yellow packet a few weeks ago?
Yes.
Okay, so,
Computer.
I gotta talk.
so every time,
Gotta move it.
I gotta talk.
every 10 years, the census comes out and we do a redistricting here. It's a very complicated process that involves, obviously, the state is involved, the city, there's many involved. I'm still, we have to we have to have this move forward before December 15th, but I'm meeting with a state rep on Friday to get some of my questions answered. I'm gonna let you know what I'm gonna ask, and then if you have any other questions, you can forward them to Virginia and she can get them to me. One of the things that I wanna know about, there's very little changes, but it can kind of be confusing to some residents because they may show up at a polling location and get two separate ballots, one for a state rep and one for the city. And so that's when it becomes confusing. And I'd like to have the details related to that before I present it to my committee and before we vote on it. So that's one of the biggest things I'd like to look into, but it's literally, if you've seen the map, it's only like a couple streets here and there that have made some changes. Basically, each ward or precinct has 4,000 individuals in it, and they cannot make, it cannot be a deviation of 5% in any area. So it's a pretty detailed process. But again, if anybody has any other questions, just forward them to Virginia and I can certainly ask and get them answered. I spoke to George Spatcher at length this morning about it as well, but you know that they're busy right now. So that's all I have for today. I'm also going to be meeting with the planning with Gary and Nick about the other issue that we've been talking about. So that's the only updates I have. And so I will call for an adjournment.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. You're adjourned.
Good evening, everybody. I have 7:01. So at this time, I'd like to call this meeting of the Municipal Council to order at 7:01. Mr. Withers, would you kindly do a roll call attendance?
Okay, sorry. Mr. Blair,
Yeah.
Ms. DeSimone,
Here.
Mr. Conti,
Here.
Mr. Waterman,
Here.
Vice President Jackson,
Here.
Mr. Delissio,
Here.
Mr. Copus,
Here.
Ms. Dolan,
Here.
Ms. Reynolds,
Here.
Ms. Holmes,
Present.
President Cooper,
Yep.
all in attendance.
Thank you. At this time, I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes of June 25th and August 31st.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, a roll call vote will begin with Councilor Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Mr. Copus,
Yes.
Mr. Delissio,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair. Mr. Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes. There are no public hearings this evening. At this time, we'll go on to the reading of the mayor's communication.
Okay, November 2nd, 2021, dear municipal councilors. I respectfully submit a communication from Superintendent of Schools, David Sawyer, regarding the donation of a Dell Chromebook with an estimated value of $350 from Sean and Samantha Collette, owners of East Coast Auto Sound to Hill Roberts Elementary School, in accordance with section 1-12 of the revised ordinance of the city of Attleboro. I request your honorable body to accept this generous donation to the city of Attleboro. Copies in your packets.
City Property and Claims Committee, please.
I respectfully submit for confirmation by your honorable body the appointment of Shane Mukasa to fill an expired term on the Youth Commission, term to expire February 2024. Copies in your packets.
Personnel, Veterans, and Human Services Committee, please.
For your information, I regret to inform your honorable body that we have received the resignation of Aurelio Sonny Almeida from the Board of Park Commissioners effective December 31st, 2021. Please join me in thanking Mr. Almeida for his service to the city. I respectfully submit a communication from Veterans Agent Ben Quell regarding the need for funds to repair a vehicle that is being transferred from the school department to the Veterans Department. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body transfer $1,200 from account Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account Veterans Maintenance of Vehicles. Upon approval, the available balance in Reserve Fund for transfer to include any pending requests will be $353,981.21. Copies in your packets.
Personnel, Veterans, and Human Services Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Chief Assessor Julie Hobson regarding the need for funds to renew the Near Map subscription. Through COVID relief funds, the Assessor's Office is able to fund an annual subscription service with Near Map, which provides aerial imagery and 3D technology and measuring capabilities. That funding source is no longer available for this expense. Every city department is able to utilize this service, including police, fire, planning, and development. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body transfer $17,500 from account Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account Assessor GIS Services. Upon approval, the available balance in Reserve Fund for transfer to include any pending requests will be $336,831.21. Copies in your packets.
Budget and Appropriations Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Chief Assessor Julie Hobson regarding the need for funds to purchase a new printer for the office.
So Steve,
On an annual basis.
Steve,
What's
I'll
that?
stop you there and we'll waive the reading of the rest of that. That's
Okay.
Budget and Appropriations, and we'll do that as we go through, just because there's 30-ish.
So many. Yep. I respectfully submit a communication with Director of Recreation Dennis Walsh regarding the need for funds for the replacements of Conley Basketball Court and Ponce Hewitt Basketball Court. As you are aware, on January 22nd, 2021, votes number 27 and 29, your honorable body voted to approve $25,340 and $36,200 for these projects. After the votes were taken, it was decided to bid both projects together. On October 20, 2021, bids were opened with a low bid coming in at $69,700. In order to move forward with the replacement of both basketball courts, I hereby request your honorable body vote to approve the following.
So Steve, we can stop that. Public Works
Yep.
Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication with Director of Council on Aging, Melissa Tucker, regarding the donation of a new HP laptop computer, carrying case, and wireless mouse from Mr. Louis Tremblay with an estimated value of $500.
City Property and Claims Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication with Director of Council on Aging, Melissa Tucker, regarding the need for funds to repair and patch the lower level roof at the senior center. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body transfer $1,600 from account Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account Council on Aging Building Maintenance.
Budget and Appropriations Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication with Director of Council on Aging, Melissa Tucker, regarding the need for funds to repair and replace a cast iron drain pipe in the basement of the senior center. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body transfer $6,500 from account Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account Council on Aging Building Maintenance.
Budget and Appropriations Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Superintendent of Public Works, Michael Tyler, regarding the need for funds to purchase one solar power crosswalk system.
We can stop there. Transportation and Traffic Committee, please.
Okay. I respectfully submit a communication from Superintendent of Public Works, Michael Tyler, regarding the need for funds for a new LED pedestrian crossing light at the intersection of Pleasant Street and Perry Avenue.
Transportation and Traffic Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Superintendent of Public Works, Michael Tyler, regarding the need for funds for engineering services related to ongoing intersection improvements at South Avenue, Snell Street, Thatcher Street, and Rathman Wheeler Drive.
Transportation and Traffic Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Director of Budget Administration, Jeremy Stoll, and Director of Planning and Development, Gary Arazian, regarding the need for funds to increase the hours of the part-time assistant conservation agent to full-time. The incumbent resigned from the position in early fiscal 2022, and the administration would like to take this opportunity to increase the staffing level within the Department of Planning and Development.
Personnel, Veterans, and Human Services Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Superintendent of Park and Forestry, Derek Corsi, regarding the need to pay a fiscal year 21 invoice from Lowe's.
Budget and Appropriations Committee, please.
I respectfully submit.
Steve, hold on 1 second. I had to flip the page. I apologize. That's actually Public Works.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. I respectfully submit a communication from Superintendent of Water Courtney Winchell and Superintendent of Wastewater Thomas Hayes regarding the need for funds to purchase a new Ford T250 transit van for the water and wastewater departments.
Public Works Committee, please.
Okay. I respectfully submit a communication from Superintendent of Water Courtney Winchell and Superintendent of Wastewater Thomas Hayes regarding the need for funds to purchase a new Ford Ranger 4x4 Super Cab with a 6-foot bed and toolbox for the water and wastewater departments.
Public Works Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Superintendent of Water Courtney Winchell regarding the need for funds to continue with the water department's ongoing water meter replacement program for fiscal year 2022.
Public Works Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Superintendent of Water Courtney Winchell regarding the need for funds to replace the sewer meter at the West Street plant.
Public Works Committee.
I respectfully submit a communication from Director of Budget and Administration, Jeremy Stoll, regarding the need for funds for a principal clerk in the Department of Budget and Administration. This department encompasses budget, MIS, purchasing, parking, and other, and oftentimes projects do not fit neatly into any other department.
Personnel, Veterans, and Human Services Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from City Collector Zaida Kiefer regarding the need for funds to purchase a new typewriter for the office.
The Budget Appropriations Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Fire Chief Scott T. LaChance regarding the need for funds to purchase new extrication equipment. The funding will be used to purchase 1 cutter and 1 spreader for Engine 4.
Public Safety Emergency Management Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Fire Chief Scott T. LaChance regarding the need for funds to purchase 4 new thermal imaging cameras for engines 1, 2, 4, and 5.
Public Safety and Emergency Management Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Fire Chief Scott T. LaChance regarding the need to replace various computer equipment within the fire department.
Public Safety and Emergency Management Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Fire Chief Scott T. LaChance regarding the need to replenish funds used in order to make an earned time payment to an employee who has retired.
Public Safety Emergency Management Committee, please.
I'm requesting that your honorable body move $400,000 from free cash to stabilization. In early 2018, then Budget Director Barry LaClasse presented an idea that we use free cash to pay for $1.2 million in 2 expenses as a way to reduce the amount taxpayers would borrow by $1.2 million in our debt exclusion. This $1.2 million removal in this $1.2 million in free cash was going to pay for the movement of CTE equipment to the new high school and asbestos removal in the existing high school, which is supposed to happen before demolition, so the asbestos particles do not contaminate the neighbor's air. Want me to keep going?
No, Budget and Appropriations, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Economic Development Director Catherine Fearick regarding the Local Rapid Recovery Plan, or LRRP program. The Local Rapid Recovery Plan program is part of the Baker-Polito Recovery Plan to revitalize downtowns, respond to the effects of COVID-19 on local businesses, and prioritize actions and strategies.
City Property and Claims Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Legal Secretary Allison Wood regarding vehicles that the Recreation Department would like to declare surplus.
City Property and Claims Committee, please.
I'm requesting to move $300,000 from free cash to the Special Education Stabilization Fund. The school superintendent and I are in agreement that $1 million is a healthy and final place for a stabilization fund. We will not need to add anything more to it after that, unless we draw down from it, but then we should replenish it to $1 million. As you know, this fund was created
Budget
to be used.
Appropriations Committee.
Okay, I respectfully submit a communication from the Attleboro Public Schools Director of Finance, Mark Furtado, regarding the following fiscal year 21 fiscal obligations that were not received in time to be processed in the normal fiscal year 21 business cycle.
Budget and Appropriations Committee, please.
Sincerely, Paul Peru, Mayor.
Thank you. And the clerk's communication.
We have several today. We received the planning board certificate of vote dated October 19th, 2021, recommending the loan order of $675,000 for a fire engine as it is consistent.
Zoning and Land Use Committee, please.
We've received a Class 1 license application from Courtesy Auto Group, DBA Courtesy at 11+16 Scott Street.
License Committee, please.
We've received 2 Class 2 license applications, one from Vince Lombard, doing business as Greco's Auto at 83 Dickens Street, and one from Tri-Town Auto of 1850 County Street.
License Committee, please.
We have received 1 automatic amusement device license application from the Portuguese American Club at 65 Prairie Avenue for 1 pool table and 1 jukebox.
License Committee, please.
We received 1 automatic amusement device license application from Market Basket of 1200 Newport Avenue for a truck ride and a merry-go-round ride.
License Committee, please.
We received 13 Class 2 license applications from the following: GMAC of 30 Main Street, County Auto Sales and Service of 42 County Street, North Main Street Auto of 44 North Main Street, Classic Auto LLC of 1100 Oakville Ave, East Coast Auto Sales Inc. at 24 Rice Street, Tri-Town Auto Sales at 1850 County Street, Better Auto of 473 Washington Street, J Motor Group of 1856 County Street, Lime Rock Motors of 722 Washington Street, Leans Auto Repair Inc. at 141 Pine Street, Gas Plus at 80 Pleasant Street, Paris Auto Body at 21 Chartier Street, and Greco's Auto at 83 Dickens Street.
License Committee, please.
That's all.
Thank you. Moving on to committee reports and beginning with Councilor Blair.
Public Safety and Emergency Management has no business to bring forward this evening, but will request a committee meeting next week at the appropriate time.
Great. Thank you. Councilor DeSimone.
Thank you, President Cooper. Traffic and Transportation also has no business to bring forward this evening, and we look forward to a meeting next week at the appropriate time.
Great. Thank you. Councilor Conti.
Thank you, Mr. President. Reporting for Capital Improvement and City Development Committee, I have 2 items to bring before the council this evening, both starting with one from the docket of November 22nd, 2021. I move to accept the donation of a downtown action strategy for the city of Attleboro funded through Mass Development and prepared by Santec as part of a transformative development initiative.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Councilor Conti, motion is in order.
I received this action strategy a couple of weeks ago when it first came out, and if councilors have not read it, I urge you to please find the time to read it. It's really quite interesting. It's a very good job. I have read other action strategies from other cities, and this is far superior from what I've seen in other documents. Good job. And that concludes my comments.
Thank you. Any additional comments? Seeing none, a roll call will begin with Councilor Blair.
Mr. Blair.
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone.
Yes.
Mr. Conti.
Yes.
Mr. Waterman.
Yes.
Vice President Jackson.
Yes.
Mr. Delissio.
Yes.
Mr. Cobus.
Yes.
Ms. Dolan.
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds.
Yes.
Ms. Holmes.
Yes.
President Cooper.
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
From the docket of October 19th, 2021, I move to approve the following loan order. Ordered that $675,000 be appropriated for the cost of purchasing and equipping a fire engine, that to meet this appropriation, the treasurer, with the approval of the mayor, is authorized to borrow $675,000 under Section 7, Paragraph 1 of Chapter 44 of the general laws, or any other enabling authority, and that the mayor is authorized to take any other action necessary to carry out this project. Any premium received by the city upon the sale of any bonds or notes approved by this order, less any such premium applied to the payment of the cost of the issuance of such bonds or notes, may be applied to the payment of the costs approved by this vote in accordance with Chapter 44, Section 20 of the general laws, thereby reducing the amount authorized to be borrowed to pay such costs by a like amount.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Councilor Conti.
Yes, the planning board approved this loan order unanimously, finding it in conformance with the comprehensive plan, which mirrors my comments completely, and that concludes my comments.
Thank you. Any additional questions or comments? Councilor Blair.
Just a quick question. With the money we have in free cash, does it make sense at this time to be borrowing that kind of money and paying interest on it?
Well, there's, I think, $370,000 left in free cash, and
What do we
This-
just, excuse me, go ahead.
this is November 2nd. So you've got 8 weeks to the end of the calendar year, but you've got 7 months to the end of the fiscal year.
Well.
Typically,
what
we
was
spend
it-
that money.
What was the free cash that just got certified?
Oh, yeah, that's 17 million.
Yeah, yeah, that's, I know it's easy to forget $17 million.
Sure. I think the council needs to have a conversation about what's going to happen to that $17 million. I think that with the interest rates the way they are and the life of the fire truck, bonding does seem to be a good idea. This truck will be in this city for 15 or 20 years. And at a 3% bond rate, I think I would encourage the council to vote for this $375,000 to be bonded, because I and a lot of councils, I'm sure, have strong ideas on what should happen with that free cash that's just been certified. That concludes my comments.
Isn't it, excuse me if I might say a few more words, isn't it 675,000 you're
Yes.
looking at?
Yes,
At 375.
675. Yep.
Okay. What's the interest rate over a 20-year bond that we're looking at?
Well, I believe it's 3% right now.
That would probably bring it up, and I'm only running some figures through my head. That would probably bring it up somewhere between 900 and $1 million over the price of the loan.
I don't have my calculator with me, Peter, so I can't answer that
I mean,
question.
just roughly, it's in that vicinity. Why borrow when you got $17 million to spend? That's my comment. I won't be voting for a bond of that caliber when there's money in the bank.
Any Councilor Delicio?
Thank you, President Cooper. So real quick, and I don't know that this is appropriate time to get into what we're going to do with the free cash money. I was pretty adamant last week that we put it in stabilization, and we really have the conversation as they come out. I also said at one point, I believe it might have been in Council Conti's committee meeting, what I would like to see is we have $331,000 that just came in from a National Grid grant. I would like to see that put towards this to cut that in half, but I don't think we should start spending that stabilization money yet, because there's still way too much we don't know as we wait for the dust from COVID to settle. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional questions or comments? Councilor Dolan?
Thank you. I'll be supporting this. I think bonding is the way to go, and regardless of the time span, 10 years, 20 years, I mean, we never go the full amount whenever we bond on anything. We always pay everything off sooner. And I think 3% would be like $20,000. So I'll be supporting this.
Thank you. Any Councilor Conti?
So, as you all know, I work in the city of Taunton. And in the city of Taunton, the mayor put $14,000 into the stabilization account, the free cash that was certified in the city, and dropped or raised the bond rating from AA1 to capital AA3, which totally changed their purchasing rate. I wasn't here last week for the discussion. I haven't had a conversation with the mayor yet. I haven't had a conversation with the Budget and Appropriations Committee, but I strongly feel that a windfall cash like that should be put into the stabilization fund, because it shows the bonding agencies that we're frugal with our money. If we spend it as quick as we get it, bond rating is not going to change. And I don't think, this purchase of a fire truck is a common and ordinary thing. This is what happens to fire engines. They wear out. We buy them, we bond them, and they last for years, and we take good care of them. It's not common that a city like Attleboro gets a windfall like we've just received from the COVID money, or together with the ARPA plan and following the CARES Act money. Money has been flowing into this city like no tomorrow. I don't think we should spend it as fast as we get it. That's my opinion. And I would like to see the council bond this fire truck, and I would like to see the council get into a financial discussion on where that money should be spent from free cash in the future. And that concludes my comments.
Thank you. Councilor Delicio.
Really, really briefly, Council Conti, then you're gonna really enjoy our committee meeting next week.
Any additional questions or comments? Seeing none, a roll call will begin with Council Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Delicio,
Yes,
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes,
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
No.
President Cooper,
Yes.
10 yeas, 1 nay.
Thank you. Motion passes.
that concludes the business that the Capital Improvements and City Development Committee has to bring before the council this evening. We look forward to a meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Councilor Waterman.
Thank you. Reporting from the Personnel, Veterans, and Human Services Committee, we have one item of business to forward. From the docket of November 2, 2021, I would move to approve the appointment of Albert Richmond of 107 Dean Street to fill an unexpired term on the Disability Commission, term to expire February of 2023.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any additional comments?
Well, I find Albert to be a very wise individual, and I believe he will bring a wealth of not only experience, but knowledge to the Disability Commission, and we will be all the better for it.
Thank you. Any additional questions or comments? Councilor Conti.
Thank you, Mr. President. A long time ago, when Al Richmond had 2 legs, we worked together on a project in the city, and I found him to be an incredible city resource. I encourage my city councilors to allow him to serve on this commission because I believe that he is going to make a difference, and that concludes my comments.
Thank you. Any additional comments? Seeing none, a roll call vote will begin with Councilor Blair.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes,
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Delicio,
yes,
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
And that concludes the business of the Personnel, Veterans, and Human Services Committee. I'll call for the next committee meeting at the next appropriate time. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Vice President Jackson.
Thank you, President Cooper. Reporting for the Public Works Committee. First, I just want to say, we just got over Halloween. We haven't made it to Thanksgiving, and we got a wicked big Christmas list. That was a big one tonight. From the docket of November 2nd, 2021, I move to approve the appropriation of $53,379.80 wide reserve fund for transfer account to the park heavy truck account to purchase a 2022 Ford F-350 truck with a Fisher plow.
second,
Thank you.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments?
I have none. We discussed it last week. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. A roll call vote will begin with Councilor Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Delicio,
yes,
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
yes,
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of November 2nd, 2021, I move to approve the transfer of $75 from the park licenses account to the park prior year license account account to pay for a fiscal year hoisting license reimbursement to an employee.
Second,
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any additional comments?
Nope, I do not have any.
Seeing none, our roll call vote will begin with Councilor Blair.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
yes,
Mr. Waterman,
yes,
Vice President Jackson,
Yes,
Mr. Delissio,
yes,
Mr. Cobus,
yes,
Ms. Dolan,
yes,
Ms. Reynolds,
yes,
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
thank you. From the docket of November 2nd, 2021, I move to transfer $2,565 from the citywide reserve fund, a transfer account, to the citywide gate fob account, for gate fobs for the DPW highway yard.
second,
Thank you.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments?
No, I do not.
Seeing none, a roll call vote will begin with Councilor Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
yes,
Ms. Dolan,
yes,
Mr. Cobus,
yes,
Mr. Delissio,
yes,
Vice President Jackson,
Yes,
Mr. Waterman,
yes,
Mr. Conti,
yes,
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
thank you. From the docket of October 19th, 2021, I move to approve the supplemental appropriation of the solid waste program in the amount of $10,865.34 to the health waste recycle collection account due to an increase in residential units participating in the program.
second,
Thank you.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments?
I have none. Thank you.
Um, Any additional questions from the, or comments from the council? Seeing none, a roll call vote will begin with Councilor Blair.
Blair,
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
yes,
Mr. Waterman,
yes,
Vice President Jackson,
Yes,
Mr. Delissio,
yes,
Mr. Cobus,
yes,
Ms. Dolan,
yes,
Ms. Reynolds,
yes,
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper, excuse me,
No.
I'm sorry,
No.
no,
That's
10
correct.
yeas, 1 nay.
Thank you. Motion passes.
thank you. That concludes the business for the Public Works Committee. And I'd like to call for a committee meeting at the appropriate time next week.
Thank you. Councilor Delissio.
thank you, President Cooper, reporting for budget appropriations, from the docket of November 2nd, 2021. Move to approve the transfer of $4,724.43 from account citywide reserve fund for transfer to account education Bristol Agricultural High School debt for funds related to the Bristol County Agricultural High School BCAHS debt service.
Second,
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments?
Thank you. We discussed last week in committee.
Thank you. Roll call will begin with Councilor Blair.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
yes,
Mr. Waterman,
yes,
Vice President Jackson,
yes,
Mr. Delissio,
Yes,
Mr. Cobus,
yes,
Ms. Dolan,
yes,
Ms. Reynolds,
yes,
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
thank you. From the docket of November 2nd, 2021, I move to approve the appropriation of $1,179,633 of available free cash from account undesignated fund balance free cash general government to the accounts listed below, which I would request we waive the readings as I read them into the record last week. The
Second.
total would be $1,179,633.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any additional comments?
I have none.
Thank you. A roll call vote will begin with Councilor Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
yes,
Ms. Dolan,
yes,
Mr. Cobus,
yes,
Mr. Delissio,
Yes,
Vice President Jackson,
yes,
Mr. Waterman,
yes,
Mr. Conti,
yes,
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
thank you, President Cooper. And finally, from the docket of November 2nd, 2021, I entertain a motion to approve a supplemental appropriation of $186,825 to account education AHS issue for interest for fiscal '22 debt service relating to Attleboro High School.
second,
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any additional comments?
I have none, as we discussed this with Jeremy last week in committee.
Great, thank you. A roll call will begin with Counselor Blair.
Mr. Blair,
Yes,
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
yes,
Mr. Waterman,
yes,
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Delissio,
Yes,
Mr. Cobus,
yes,
Ms. Dolan,
yes,
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes,
President Cooper,
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Motion passes.
thank you, President Cooper. That concludes the business for budget and appropriations tonight. We'd like to call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Second.
Thank
Oops.
you.
Appreciate that, Kate.
Counselor Cobus.
yes. Reporting for Zoning and Land Use Committee. I move to hold a public hearing on November 16th, 2021, in accordance with section 2-11.2 of the city ordinances to declare the 20,000 square foot piece of property located on Pond Street in the town of Seekonk that the city of Attleboro owns is available for disposition.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments?
None.
Thank you. A roll call will begin with Counselor Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
yes,
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
yes,
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Delissio,
Yes,
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
yes,
Mr. Conti,
yes,
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
yes,
President Cooper,
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Motion passes.
And that concludes the business of the Zoning and Land Use Committee. I call for committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Counselor Dolan.
thank you. Reporting for License Committee, I have a few this evening from the docket of November 2nd, 2021. I move to approve a Class 2 license renewal for Just Trailers, Inc. at 1863 County Street with 12 customer spaces and 7 display spaces.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments?
No comments really. Like I said in committee, and whoever was or was not there, I visited all these and everybody's in line.
Great, thank you. A roll call vote will begin with Counselor Blair.
Blair,
yes,
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
yes,
Mr. Waterman,
yes,
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Delissio,
yes,
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes,
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Holmes,
yes,
President Cooper,
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Motion passes.
from the docket of November 2nd, 2021, I move to approve a Class 2 license renewal for 100% auto sales at 21 Washington Street with 10 customer parking spaces and 48 display spaces.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments?
None.
Thank you. A roll call will begin with Counselor Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
yes,
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes,
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Delissio,
yes,
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
yes,
Mr. Conti,
yes,
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
yes,
President Cooper,
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Motion passes.
from the docket of November 2nd, 2021, I move to approve a Class 2 license for Bristol County Auto Sales LLC at 227 Pine Street with 10 customer parking spaces and 10 display spaces.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments?
None.
Roll call will begin with Counselor Blair.
Blair,
yes,
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
yes,
Mr. Waterman,
yes,
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Delissio,
yes,
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes,
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Holmes,
yes,
President Cooper,
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Motion passes.
from the docket of November 2nd, 2021, I move to approve a Class 2 license for JT Automotive LLC DBA Kia of Attleboro, 795 Newport Ave, with 46 customer parking spaces and 195 display spaces.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments?
None.
Roll call will begin with Counselor Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
yes,
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes,
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Delissio,
yes,
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
yes,
Mr. Conti,
yes,
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
yes,
President Cooper.
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Motion passes.
From the docket of November 2nd, 2021, I move to approve a Class 2 license renewal for Trusted Auto Inc. at 64 Pleasant Street with 5 customer parking spaces and 18 display spaces.
Second,
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments?
I have none.
A roll call will begin with Counselor Blair.
Mr. Blair,
yes,
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
yes,
Mr. Waterman,
yes,
Vice President Jackson,
yes,
Mr. Delissio,
yes,
Mr. Cobus,
yes,
Ms. Dolan,
Yes,
Ms. Reynolds,
yes,
Ms. Holmes,
yes,
President Cooper.
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
from the docket of November 2nd, 2021, I move to approve a Class 2 license for, oh, excuse me, sorry, let me start over. I apologize. From the docket of November 2nd, 2021, I move to approve a Class 1 license renewal from National Van Builders, Inc. at 70 and 84 Pine Street and 7 Parker Street with 8 customer parking spaces and 45 display spaces.
second,
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments?
No, none.
None. A roll call will begin with Counselor Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
yes,
Ms. Reynolds,
yes,
Ms. Dolan,
Yes,
Mr. Cobus,
yes,
Mr. Delissio,
yes,
Vice President Jackson,
yes,
Mr. Waterman,
yes,
Mr. Conti,
yes,
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
yes,
President Cooper.
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Motion passes.
thank you. I think I skipped Automax.
You did.
I
You
did.
Yep.
Thank you. From the docket of November 2nd, 2021, I move to approve a Class 2 license renewal for New England Automax, Inc., DBA Automax Pre-Owned at 800 Washington Street with 10 customer parking spaces and 100 display spaces.
second,
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments?
I have none.
Seeing none, a roll call will begin with Counselor Blair.
Mr. Blair,
yes,
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
yes,
Mr. Waterman,
yes,
Vice President Jackson,
yes,
Mr. Delissio,
yes,
Mr. Cobus,
yes,
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
yes,
Ms. Reynolds,
yes,
Ms. Holmes,
yes,
President Cooper.
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Motion passes.
From the docket of November 2nd, 2021, I move to approve an automatic amusement device license renewal for New England Authentic Eats LLC DBA Papagenos at 103 Pleasant Street and with 1 coin operated machine.
second,
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments?
I don't have any.
Thank you. A roll call will begin with Counselor Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
yes,
Ms. Reynolds,
yes,
Ms. Dolan,
Yes,
Mr. Cobus,
yes,
Mr. Delissio,
yes,
Vice President Jackson,
yes,
Mr. Waterman,
yes,
Mr. Conti,
yes,
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
yes,
President Cooper.
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Motion passes.
oh, I'm sorry. And that's all the business the license committee has, and we'd like to call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Counselor Reynolds.
thank you. Reporting from reporting for City Property and Claims Committee, I have one item on the docket. From the docket of November 2nd, 2021, I entertain a motion to accept the donation of $100 in Stop and Shop gift cards from an anonymous donor for the Health Department.
second,
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments?
I have none.
Thank you. Roll call vote, I think, is Counselor Blair.
Yep, Mr. Blair,
yes,
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
yes,
Mr. Waterman,
yes,
Vice President Jackson,
yes,
Mr. Delissio,
yes,
Mr. Cobus,
yes,
Ms. Dolan,
Yes,
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes,
Ms. Holmes,
yes,
President Cooper.
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Motion passes.
that is all the business City Property and Claims Committee has this evening, but I would like to call a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Great. Thank you. Counselor Holmes.
thank you. Reporting for Ordinance, Election, and Legislative Matters Committee, I have no business this evening, but we'll call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Great. Thank you. At this time, I'd entertain a motion to go into committee of the whole.
Second,
Thank you. Roll call vote will begin with Counselor Holmes.
Ms. Holmes. Ms. Holmes,
You're muted,
I'm sorry,
Diane.
yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Delissio,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes,
President Cooper,
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes. We are now in committee of the whole. Is there anyone on the meeting?
I don't think
I
so.
believe there is. It's the same 13. So at this time, I'd entertain a motion to arise.
Second,
Thank you. Motion's in order. The roll call will begin with Counselor Blair.
Blair,
yes,
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
yes.
Mr. Delissio,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. There is no old business. There are 5 items of new business, and for those, I will recognize Counselor DeSimone. But before doing that, Counselor DeSimone, on most of these, there's no reason for you to read them in their entirety at this point. You can merely summarize and then discuss more if your new business gets a second.
Understood and appreciated.
Thank you.
So, okay. So then I move to be referred to for study and recommendation, the attached petition. I don't know how to read it, President Cooper. So should I just leave it at that?
Which one? Which one you first?
So it's going to start with the special petition relating to the laying out and acceptance of certain streets.
Yep. So if you go to the agenda, Virginia did a lovely job of summarizing the new business tonight.
Okay, forgive me.
So I would
That,
refer to study and recommendation, a special act to the Massachusetts Senate and House regarding acceptance of certain ways in the city of Attleboro.
perfect. Thank you.
Is there a second from?
Second.
Second, sorry.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Counselor DeSimone.
Thank you. I'll keep it short. I was asked to help write this special petition relative to the acceptance of certain streets that for various reasons have not previously been accepted. Developers move, developers pass away, the streets are left unaccepted. The city loses out on Chapter 90 funds. This is modeled on a special petition that was submitted in the 90s for a similar purpose.
Thank you. Any additional questions or comments? This is just to assign this matter to committee. And a roll call vote will begin with Counselor Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Delissio,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
yes,
President Cooper,
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes. And Transportation and Traffic Committee, please.
All right. Thank you, President Cooper. I'm just searching frantically for my agenda.
It's okay. If you don't have it, you can summarize. I just
Okay. Next up, I would move to submit to a committee for recommendation and study the following piece of new business submitted by Council Reynolds and myself to provide additional protection for our existing mobile home parks and residents by A, creating a new mobile home park manufactured park zoning district, or B, creating a mobile home park overlay district, or C, adopting any other appropriate and lawful measure to serve this purpose.
Second,
thank you. Motion is in order.
Thank you. I'll keep it short. Of course, you're all familiar with the rent stabilization special act that's pending before the state. And although that would certainly be beneficial to protecting our mobile home park residents from rent increases, particularly due to the purchase and sale of these parks by new owners, because these are proving to be significant investment opportunities for large investment corporations across the country. This, what I'm proposing, what Council Reynolds and I are proposing here is to consider additional protection to these mobile home parks by creating a special zoning district, which would at least provide another layer, if you will, of protection in the event they're purchased that would, what's the word I'm looking for? Diminish the possibility that they may be purchased for and with the intention of clearing them out, raising them, and then developing them to perhaps subdivisions that may prove more valuable.
Thank you. Any additional comments or questions for Councilors DeSimone or Councilor Reynolds? I just, to both of you, thank you for bringing this forward. Thank you for your initial conversations with the planning board and anyone else that I know that you have had lots of conversations with. So from me, thank you for doing that. And this likely won't come before the council before my time, but as you start to work through these ordinances, I will be around to come speak in favor of doing something to protect this. I swore, get ready, James, to like bleep me. I swore I wouldn't be a pain in the ass ex-counselor, but in some of these instances, I'm going to have to be. So, and in this case, I will be right with those that are trying to protect their interest in affordable housing in this way in the city. So thank you both for doing that. With that, I will call for a vote. Beginning with, I believe, Councilor Blair.
Blair,
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Delissio,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
yes,
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes. And Zoning and Land Use Committee, please.
Thank you, President Cooper. Next up, I move to submit to the appropriate committee for a study and recommendation, a proposed amendment to section 10-5.13 of the parking, motor vehicle and parking chapter revised ordinances concerning commercial vehicles and trailers.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order.
So,
Councilor DeSimone.
I'm sorry, President Cooper. What I'm doing here is bringing back the business that I had submitted earlier, realizing that there are two particular issues. My comments are going to relate to what is before you now and what is coming up next, that I'm seeking to provide a definition of commercial vehicle in both Chapter 10 and Chapter 17. In Chapter 10, it would be the establishment of the definition and clarifying the parking of said vehicles on our streets and roadways.
Thank you. Any additional questions or comments? Seeing none, a roll call will begin with Councilor Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
yes,
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Delissio,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes. And Transportation and Traffic Committee, please.
Thank you, President Cooper. Next up, I move to submit for a study and recommendation by the appropriate committee, a proposed amendment to Chapter 17 pertaining to adding some languages concerning the definition of commercial vehicle and possibly a prohibition on the parking of said vehicles and residential property.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any additional comments? Hearing none. I'm sorry. Did I stop?
No, only to say that this was the issue that needed to be separate out earlier, that I am submitting a draft language here for the committee to work with, but it may turn into something else. I have no idea.
Great. Thank you. Councilor Conti, did I see? Yes.
Mr. President, thank you. I just want to compliment Councilor DeSimone for slicing and dicing this issue and bringing it back onto the agenda. This is a big one. You know, it's likely to take as long as the Rules and Procedures Committee to accomplish. But you know what? What I like is that you're not shying away from a challenge. This is a challenge, and I'm glad we're taking it on. So thank you for bringing it back up. And that concludes my comments.
Thank you. Any additional comments? Seeing none, a roll call will begin with Councilor Blair.
Blair,
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Delissio,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
oh, yes,
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes. In that matter, I'm going to refer to the Transportation and Traffic Committee as well.
Thank you, President Cooper. And last up, I move to submit to the appropriate committee for consideration and a study and recommendation, forgive me, a request for a public hearing relative to the extension of a no parking to corner area on Frank Mossberg Drive at Extension Street.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any additional comments?
This is an error on my part. This business had been previously submitted and I neglected to request a public hearing. It does in fact require to change the ordinance, so I apologize for the error and respectfully ask for a hearing on the 16th.
Thank you. Motion is in order for a public hearing on 11/16/21. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Council Jackson. A roll call vote is required and we'll begin with Council Holmes, and this is on the public hearing.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Delissio,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Transportation and Traffic Committee, and we will have a public hearing on that matter, as you just voted, on 11/16.
Thank you, President Cooper.
Thank you. That concludes the business this evening. At this time, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments? Roll call vote will begin with Councilor Blair.
Blair,
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Delissio,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Mrs. Dolan,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes. We are adjourned at 7:55.